Hello everyone and welcome to Game 3 in a series between Tara versus Hazed here on Cloud Kingdom. We have Tara spawning as the blue Protoss player on the top right hand side of the map. Meanwhile on the bottom left hand side of the map we have Hazed spawning as the red Zerg. Quick thing to note, unfortunately the red player is on the top here, the blue player is on the bottom. I may get switched up from time to time if I try to take a look at that. Hopefully I don't get too confused. Now, so far, I believe Tara has had a 2-0 advantage in this series, and moving into Game 3, it's going to be really difficult for Hazed to really get back into this, unless, then again, they post the games out of order, and this is really the... Actually, I won't say anything about the games. Let's just go ahead and talk about the series and what will happen here. Front door, we do have one proxy pylon already set up. Looks like it will be a forge fast expansion, and pretty much Hazed has not tried to abuse or utilize any sort of 7-pool play to punish that forge fast expansion, because there is always a very fast probe scouting. The probe can pretty much see what's happening and adjust and respond to it very quickly. You can see the spawning pool is already down in play now, and the probe is just trying to come in. It looks like though a drone may be able to get in a little bit of damage onto that probe. The probe now just trying to steal some of those resources, steal some of those minerals, and will be able to do exactly that, as the probe is going to be wandering back down. It shouldn't even bother placing down a proxy pylon, as 4 Zerglings will be able to take down that one pylon very easily. So really no resources gained there. Meanwhile, it would delay. Tara is going for a forge first instead of that nexus first that we've seen him go in previous games. And we'll see if Hazed tries to be aggressive, or if he just tries to establish up a hatchery down here at the natural. You can see that the pylon is currently warping into play. It doesn't look like it will be cancelled at all. A probe still wandering around, and the probe is going to be blocking the third base location. Oh, the drone, is it going to try to grow up and be a hatchery? It is going to try to do exactly that. The drone and the probe, oh, there you go, another pylon block. A beautiful play there, as now Tara has blocked both the main base, the main natural expansion, and the third base as well. So Hazed is going to be very far behind, and we should perhaps see a nexus coming in here momentarily, meaning that Tara will have his second nexus up before that second hatchery is even up. Zerglings will finish off this here. Drone is going to grow up and be a hatchery. Zerglings now making their way over and should be able to finish off this probe. Oh, the probe able to barely get away, as the drone now going to perhaps get some damage onto this pylon in order to take it down. Only 1 Zergling chasing that probe back. 3 Zerglings going to finish off this pylon. Pylon of Tara will fall, and this game is now underway as a gateway, and perhaps a cybernetics core will finish off the rest of this wall in here. So far, the probe hasn't shown any true signs of trying to do a double gate here on the front door, and I'm curious if he'll go for a cybernetics core here, or perhaps position it in such a way that there's a very narrow choke point here, and then not be forced to take down one of these key production buildings, as Tara normally only goes for 1 forge and goes for a triple weapons upgrade instead of weapons and armor upgrades at the same time. Zergling attempting to take down rocks here. It looks like we will be going in for a cybernetics core. Where is that cybernetics core? It is going to be placed down here. Perhaps another pylon could be placed down here to make this wall in a little bit better. Roaches could start knocking on this front door as well. A little bit of damage could be dealt. Hatchery already in this position. So it is going to be 3 bases by Hazed compared to the 2 bases by Tara. Harvester count 27 to 27. And both players really opting to go for very heavy economic openings and playing a bit defensive. Now, it is going to be important to see what units Tara gets after, or what building after that cybernetics core. 1 Zergling looks like it will get taken down, yes, by the Zealot there. Zerglings attempting to take down the rocks here even further, but the Zealot going to be able to slice through those Zerglings with absolutely no problem, as an Overlord gets into position. There's that level 1 weapons upgrade that I expected to see. Stalkers are being added to the army, and there's only 1 production building so far, so Tara really investing heavily into his economy, as we now see the Zealot getting off another kill there. So some easy Zergling kills so far, unable to run inside whatsoever, and now Tara going off of a triple gas on 2 bases. Interested to see what tech path he is going to be trying to go down. Now, Hazed is off over here. No creep tumors connecting these bases just quite yet. It looks like this creep tumor will be able to perhaps position itself here, finally connecting the bases. And once that is done, then it's going to be some very, very easy defense. Now, one of the things that I normally like to see from Zerg players after the most recent patch is that they train more queens. Queens are one of those units very, very effective at handling defense. You can see that range of 5, how effective it really is. The Zealot does get taken down, and then the Stalker can't really go up one-on-one against the Queen. So there you go. You can see that the Stalker getting in, or sorry, the Stalker getting in a final shot off on the drone, but the Queen really able to hold her own against that one Stalker, as the Stalker is forced to retreat. Back over here, assimilators are being placed down once more. Photon cannon does spot that Overlord. Overlord is going to fly away again, as we are now transitioning into more gateway buildings and some back of the mineral line pylons here, perhaps to hide some key tech. 10 drones also being added once more. It is going to be 59 drones versus 48 probes. We are already going into level 2 weapons upgrade. So Tara so far hasn't had a reason to really change his strategy as of yet. He's been feeling very comfortable in every game, and he's getting level 2 weapons upgrade. He's going to have a very strong economic advantage, or sorry, a very strong army advantage. The economic advantage he won't be able to hold on to until that third nexus is up. But he can easily just put pressure on the Hazed, and we might even see that double robotics facility strategy. Yeah, Tara also getting in a whole bunch of gateways on the front door here, making it very difficult for any Zerglings or Roaches to simply run in. And this is a strategy that we've seen often on Metalopolis. First time I've really seen it heavily used in 3 games straight up in the Protoss versus Zerg. So Tara pretty much looking very, very comfortable. He is executing his game plan. Meanwhile, I believe Hazed is also executing his game plan, doing a little bit better, sitting on 70 drones versus 55 probes. His income should be stronger. Yes, it is. And is he going to be going into Mutalisk is the key question. What is his layer tech? What is his layer play going to be, as he cannot win this fight straight up purely on macro. He needs to get in some harassment, perhaps take down a couple of these probes. You can see very heavy saturation at the natural, a decent saturation in the main, not quite as much, as the Zerglings are going to try to test that third and quickly see that they can't get in. Zerglings, yeah, quickly see that they can't get in there. You can also see more gateways being added, more pylons, more photon cannons, making sure that this front door wall does not fall. Hazed also establishing up a 4th base here after scouting out that the 3rd base is already up. Hazed looks like he will be going in for very heavy Mutalisk play, 1400 gas, and also a fair amount of minerals to boot. He should be able to perhaps get into 18 to 20 Mutalisk if he doesn't spend any more gas whatsoever. Spine crawlers are being added to the group. We are also going into level 1 armor upgrades. So level 1 armor upgrades already being established as the Zerglings look to take down these destructible rocks. No level 1 weapons upgrade, but we're already starting the level 3 Protoss ground upgrade. So those stalkers are going to be extremely effective, as they already have blink. We are going to have about perhaps 19 Mutalisks being trained up, just waiting on the gas. There you go, 15 Mutalisks already being trained, just waiting on more and more. 14 larvae available. I believe we will have about 19 to 20 Mutalisks in just a moment, as Hazed already establishes this 4th base up here. And we are already going into a Templar Archives. So Templar Archives, 14 more drones being trained up as well. And these Mutalisks need to deal a lot of damage, take down a lot of probes, and re-wrestle away economic control, forcing perhaps Tara to only sit on 3 bases, as Hazed could perhaps try to take up this 4th and maybe even this 5th down over here. Mutalisks are now in the middle of the field. Where are they going to go? There are a bunch of photon cannons already ready to go, and what is going to happen? The photon cannon trying to get focused down, but in comes the Phoenix, the hallucinated Phoenix, revealing sight up onto the high ground. And with that, Tara is not going to be able to do very much of anything, trying to take down all of these photon cannons. But no, the Stalkers are already in position, and Hazed losing a lot more than he bargained for. Level 2 weapons upgraded, Stalkers against 0-0 Mutalisks. And those Mutalisks, even though they can deal a lot of damage, they're not going to be able to reach critical mass all too much, as those Stalkers are easily just picking this apart. And Hazed's strategy has already been revealed, and he has not gotten very much mileage out of that at all. Spine crawlers, and a large number of them are down off over here. Hazed can easily get into layer tech, perhaps try to utilize Broodlords. Broodlords were very effective in Game 2. We'll see if it can be effective in Game 3. There are a lot of macro hatches, a lot of spine crawlers in play, so he's using those spine crawlers as they don't cost supply and deal a lot of damage and can also move, as having static defense that can move always very effective. So 12 spine crawlers here, and going to be very difficult for any number of stalkers to take down unless there are colossi. Here we go, there are Zerglings ready to do a run by, but the run by has now been completely shut down. Tara very happy to just sit on 3 bases. He's going to get up to 3 level 3 weapons upgrade, perhaps start the armor upgrades, as we are already going into a Stargate before the 15 or at the 15-minute mark in this game. So at the 15-minute mark, we may even see Void Rays or even a planet or even a fleet beacon for a mothership. The Zerglings are not going to be able to do much here. You can see that that wall off is complete, and they're not going to be able to get in at all. We do see that Hazed is going to be running up on this base as well. It is going to be a 5-base Zerg versus a 3-base Protoss. But does Hazed actually have enough drones? Yes, he has enough drones to actually utilize all of these units here. But the Zealots are going to see simply making a very, very fast run over here in just a moment. There is not enough spine crawlers. We are going into Corruptors. We are going into Zerg Ground Carapace level 2. But the Zealots, with that very, very high 20 damage per swipe against the hatchery, will be able to take it down in just a matter of seconds. You can see how effective these units are here. Mutalisk, however, making their way over. Mutalisk is going to be able to protect the hatchery. Is it going to be enough? It looks as though, yes, it will be just enough, but a lot of damage will be dealt, especially with a large ground fleet now, or ground gateway army coming in from behind. Zerglings now looking to shut down this this base, able to do exactly that, as another expansion being taken on the bottom right hand side. Zerglings, are they going to be able to crash in on all of these gateways? That is the key question. They're trying to attack, trying to break their way through. And it looks like the Zerglings are 1-2 upgraded. They're perhaps going to be able to take down those photon cannons. Stalkers are now coming in as well. The photon cannon could fall, but I believe that is going to be simply it, as the Zerglings are now trying to crash their way on the front door. Here we go, Stalkers engaging. Simply too many photon cannons, though, as those photon cannons two-shot those Zerglings. Normally Mutaling, a very effective combination, but the Stalkers now with Blink able to take down all of these Mutalisks in a matter of seconds, as Tara takes the supply lead once more. We are now getting 7 Broodlords, but we are also getting up a mothership as well. We are going into a Spire, and was the Greater Spire sniped down? I don't believe so, but then again, let me see if I can find a Corruptor on the field for you. No, the Greater Spire was not sniped down. It is just building up another Spire just to be safe at this point, as we now see a massive Stalker army, 3-1 Stalkers, just rolling into this 5th base here, or this 4th base here, going to be able to take down the hatchery, and there's not much that Hazed can really do to stop this. So far, this is just Tara's game in constant controls. We do have some changelings wrestled in with the rest of the units here. They are now trying to retreat or return all the way back. The changelings don't have that zealot leg upgrades. Broodlords dropping in some broodlings onto some of those stalkers. The stalkers taking a lot of damage there. The stalkers are fighting up against 1-2 broodlings. Those broodlings really need to get upgraded, though, as Hazed does have about 10 broodlords here and a whole bunch of spine crawlers to try to draw a line in the sand. Both sides also sitting on a very large amount of resources, but the Protoss player is seeing that maximum supply, pretty much 198 compared to 167, as we are now going into Carapace upgrades for the air and level 1 ground upgrades. So we may have 3-3 Broodlords, and even though the Broodlings are the main source of damage, those Broodlords deal a lot. And oh, a beautiful, beautiful play. Massive feedback coming in, taking down multiple units, and also getting in some Psystorms as well. And that was absolutely huge, being able to take down so many of those units. One Broodling able to finish off a High Templar here, as now the Broodlords are now trying to make their way forward. Oh, this could be bad. The Stalkers and the Broodlings are trying to engage. What is happening off over here? We are going to see Infestors. The Infestors could perhaps land a Fungal Growth. And no, yes, they are going to be able to blink away once more, as the drones are now trying to get away. This hatchery was sniped down as well, as Tara just being very, very careful to sit on a lot of resources And at some point, Tara may actually have more resources in the bank than he has an army. Let's take a look at the army tab. It is 62 and 4,000. And with 5,000 resource minerals in the bank, 2,500 gas. Meanwhile, Hazed has a lot more of a gas army and also has about 2,000 more resources in his overall army composition, with still a little bit of supply to give. Gravitic Drive and Protoss ground armor being added, once more photon cannons being added as a warp prism trying to simply fly in. What is that warp prism gonna go? Where is it gonna do some damage? This could be huge, as we saw so many key tech buildings taken down earlier. Stalkers now trying to engage, simply too many spine crawlers, as Hazed could try to engage here. But what is this? 8-10 zealots now warped in as well. The Queen not going to be able to finish off that warp prism at all. The zealots are upgraded 3-1, soon to be 3-2, as a massive stalker army finishes up this hatchery off here. A mothership arriving to cloak all of these units, and really Tara just taking control of this game. He has so many resources in the bank, and he pretty much has more resources in the bank than a current live army, so he can replenish his army in just a matter of seconds. Oh, a beautiful, beautiful vortex coming in, and now the stalker is trying to come in as well. What is going to happen? Those broodlings actually getting sucked inside. Unfortunately, those broodlords trying to get away. Where are they going to go? The infestors could get off and land some fungals as well. Here come all the units. Infestors could land some fungal growths here, and the sentries could get taken down. Tara actually losing a lot of units in this engagement. High Templars coming in for Psystorm, not going to be able to finish off these very beefy broodlords. 225 hit points compared to a Psystorm. They're able to take it, absorb it, and even move out of it very, very slowly. It is now a 4-base Protoss versus a 4-base Zerg. There is a lot of macro hatches, but once again we see Protoss army, with, even though it is slightly behind in overall resources and in size, will be able to replenish it very quickly with a lot of resources in the bank, now getting up to, what is that, 7,000 resources, and getting into a lot more gateways. So very, very heavy gateway production. I don't know how many gateways are actually on the field, but let's go ahead and take a look. With over 20 gateways on the field, he can build a 40 supply army in just 5 seconds, folks. That is absolutely huge. Zealots now trying to make their way in. They're just going to get poked apart, as now the Broodlords, Corruptors, and Broodlings making this slow push in. And the only thing I gotta say is the addition of Queens would perhaps be the only thing necessary to make this push very, very successful. Queens able to transfuse those Broodlords. Also very good DPS now, both against ground and air, especially with that 5 range, able to engage against those Stalkers. They are feedback targets, but then again, it's very hard to try to get feedback onto distinguishing between the Infestor and the Queen if they are all grouped together. Also, Overseers are a very prime target, as well as the Nexus here is going to fall in a matter of seconds. So Hazed now with a much larger attacking force. The Broodlings look like, why aren't they going to finish off this Nexus? The Nexus already down to 500 some odd hit points. There you go, getting taken down in just a matter of seconds here, and now going to be moving off to shut down this Nexus on the top left. Both players now running low on bases. Their resources are pretty much mined out, but then again, Hazed does have this additional base here. His income is slightly better, as this doesn't have that many units. Let's take a look at the harvester count. 55 to 74, over saturation here. Meanwhile, Hazed not having enough for a good saturation on the 2 bases that he currently has. Zerglings are down here, and let's see. Yes, the Corruptors should be able to just come in and snipe down that Warp Prism and take it out. All right, a Mothership and Colossi and Archons now ready to go, make another move into battle. The Void Rays do not have any weapon upgrades. We are going into level 3 ground armor and carriers. So carriers take 2 minutes to build, a very, very long build time, but very effective if they are able to complete. Or if they are able to complete and get into the battlefield. A very good range, but you need the level 1 weapons and level 3 weapons upgrades, since carriers do have a very fast attack rate for a slow amount. Armor makes a huge difference on the units, as the Infestors, Zerglings, and all the other units will be reducing the amount of damage they take. Level 3 Carapace upgrades coming in, another Broodlord being added, and you can see finally the Protoss air weapons upgrade coming in, and that would be off of the Cybernetics core here. Zerglings looking to finish off all of these Zealots. These Zealots are 3-2. Meanwhile, the Zerglings are 2-2, meaning that they will get two-shotted by those Zealots. But the Zerglings just superior in numbers, able to take that down. All right, in the bank, it looks like Hazed is in the driver's seat right now. So many Corruptors. The Corruptors are going to be able to destroy anything that is air, as the Corruptors, with so many of them. All right, oops, forgot to do this. All right. So it looks as though this Nexus will be up and running. It looks like the Warp Prism going to try and do another bit of a drop inside the main. There is a Spine Crawler here. The Queen is getting in some easy shots. The Warp Prism, however, does move very, very quickly. The Corruptors could shut down. Oh, the Corruptors completely ignore this. What is going on here? The Corruptors could have taken down the Warp Prism, as now we have a major battle here. A Mothership trying to engage, no Corruptors, and oh, what a huge, huge vortex. Archons are going to be able to jump inside, and that Archon toilet, don't let any more Broodlords go in. That would be a very, very bad Mothership carrier. Corruptors are trying to engage. There are a lot of Spine Crawlers here as well. You can see damage being dealt, and now the Mothership trying to come back out, but the Archons dealing so much damage across so many Broodlords. The Broodlords, so many taking damage, and now Psystorm being added as well. Corruptors also taking a lot of damage here, and Hazed has to be careful. Carriers and Colossi will all be falling here in just a moment. The Corruptors are trying to give chase. It looks like the Carrier survives with 20 hit points, and the Colossus with 22. That was a terrible miscalculation, as the Zealots are now going to be running in and taking down some more key buildings. Alright, Tara is behind. We'll see what Hazed is going to do to follow this up. More carriers are being added. The Zerglings are going to come in, surround, and take down the Zealots here, but nothing to really shut down this Warp Prism, as the Warp Prism is simply just going to be able to fly away. There is a Queen in position, going to get in some easy shots, but I believe the Warp Prism, with its very fast movement speed, able to fly away once more. Tara sitting on essentially 2 mining bases against the 2 mining bases of Hazed, but Hazed does not have 2 full mining bases. Corruptors are now morphing into more Broodlords. The Broodlords are going to be the necessary tactic here, but the Zerglings are going to be able to take down multiple probes. This could be huge. All of these probes get taken down, and Tara will not be able to really mine off of all of these bases any longer, but still no Banelings from Hazed. I believe Hazed, with level 2 weapons upgrade, could just go for Banelings and then just try to drop them from the sky. Our Zealots now trying to regroup off over here. It looks like the Roaches are going to finish off this one Nexus. The Nexus will be falling, and now in comes this Corruptor Broodlord Infestor push once more, but this time still without Queens. Queens so effective, especially at tanking damage from those Stalkers. Stalkers only deal bonus damage to armored units and nothing else. All of those Infestors were quickly taken down. What is going to happen here? The Infestors could just fungal growth all of those probes. That is just so many probes. So much damage could be dealt, and Broodlords and Broodlings just dropping from the sky. Infested Terran as well. This is a timed life army, and it looks like this Nexus will get dropped in a matter of seconds. The Broodlords simply just raining down so many Broodlings on top of all of these probes. The probes just could get taken down and wiped out. It looks like this base will fall in just a matter of seconds, as Tara trying to regroup still, but Tara is behind at this point, unable to rebuild his army whatsoever. Alright, Stalkers are looking to now perhaps intercept and cut off and split up the army into 2. Broodlords are rather slow. That is the one issue for Broodlords. And what is going to be happening now as the Mothership is making its way across the field? Let's take a look at the unit combination. Carriers, Motherships, High Templars. But the sheer army size of Hazed, sitting at over 16,000 resources, should be able to almost attack move into this group as long as there are Overseers in this group. There are a lot of Archons, though, and those Archons will be trying to destroy all of these units in just a matter of seconds. Just a matter of time. All right, 2-3 upgrades finishing up on those Broodlords. Broodlords with, I believe, 4 armor. Corruptors with, I believe, 5 armor now. Yeah, 5 armor, really minimizing the amount of damage that they are taking. Archons still deal a lot of damage to them, but the Stalkers are only dealing, I believe, 12 damage per shot, less than 10 damage per second for those Stalkers. More Infestors being added, and we'll see what the next push will be. So far, Hazed does have some drones that are currently not mining, not quite sure why. You can still see the Colossus and the Carrier, the two heroes from the previous battle who were able to stay alive, can still come back in. Zealots now pushing in once more, but sorry, Changelings pushing in once more, only to get destroyed by a very, very well-aware Tara. High Templars now making a push across the center. We are at maximum energy on those High Templar. Those High Templar could rain down a lot of Psystorm once again. We can see that there are Spine Crawlers, and they are all just trying to root and trying to perhaps slow down this attacking force. As long as Hazed can control the course of the game and prevent Tara from really setting up a nexus here, he should be able to win out based upon sheer economy, since he does have a stronger income still. All right, Broodlords, Infestors, Corruptors. What is going to be this next slow Protoss push? 3 upgrades. A new nexus is finally warping in here. Archons, Stalkers, Mothership looking to move over as well. 1-0 upgrades on that Mothership. Not going to be enough. We have 1-0 upgrades on the Interceptors of those Carriers, and we should be getting a battle ready to go. Hazed now trying to establish the top left base again as a Warp Prism now flying away. So we could have another engagement here. Yes, Changelings gonna get taken down. Archon able to finish off once more. And I wonder, does the Mothership actually cloak the Changeling? It shouldn't, and that's probably a very, very easy way to keep track of whether or not there are Changelings in your army at all. All right, here we go. Nope, still not ready to go. Level 3 attack upgrades now coming in. Nexus now coming in as well. Probe still doing some long distance mining. And what is Hazed really trying to do? Hazed needs to get more gas, and it looks like he is going to be extracting gas off of here and here. This is already mined out. This is going to be mined out momentarily. 2 additional extractors could be set up here. And almost every mineral patch has been mined from, I believe. Yes, every mineral patch on this map has been mined from. Most of the mineral patches have already been taken out. Still some gas left over there, as we now see the Warp Prism, very fast movement speed, looking to do another drop. Corruptors could catch this. Yes, I believe it. So the Warp Prism is just going to get caught here, and there you go, taken down. One quick shot, losing the Zealot inside as well. All right, where are those Corruptors going to fly back to? Level 2 weapons upgrade, almost level 3, massive damage against Colossi and Mothership and Carriers. It is going to be an important battle, as the Stalkers may try to pick off more units here. There is an Overseer here. It is going to keep track and know that a Nexus is warping in on the bottom right-hand side. And Tara was able to establish this 3 o'clock expansion. So if Tara is able to hold on just long enough, Hazed, for some reason, doesn't want to engage unless he has absolute 3-3 upgrades, which is good if he can actually take down this Nexus in a matter of seconds. High Templars, though, will be able to get off a lot of Psystorm, and unless those Infestors are... If those Infestors are grouped together, Psystorm and Feedback is simply going to give them a very, very bad day. Zealots now looking to come in and finish off the hatchery. Zerglings now trying to come in around. It looks like all of these Zealots will be falling, but will the hatchery fall as well? It looks, yes, the hatchery will fall, but at the cost of a whole bunch of units, a whole bunch of Zerglings apparently not getting in on that action, and perhaps the hatchery could have been saved. All right, here we go. Hazed still adding in more and more units. We are about to hit a 20,000 supply or 20,000 resource army, and this is a massive army, folks. Very rarely do you see an army quite this large. Queens getting in some transfusions as well. The Queen now making their way up onto the high ground. A lot of creep tumors are being placed down. How many Queens are in this group? There are currently only 1 Queen in this group, as Hazed, I guess, doesn't need any more injects whatsoever, sitting at 36 larvae off of all of the hatchery that Hazed is on. All right, here we go. Zealots Changelings quickly going to get taken down. Spine Crawlers now trying to be established here. Here we go. Here's the engagement. There's not that many Colossi. Spine Crawlers now coming in. Broodlords and Corruptors just dropping in a lot of units. Oh, fungal growth on the Interceptors. The Interceptors were able to retreat, though. Only a 4-second time life there, as the Spine Crawlers still making their way forward. More and more Spine Crawlers. This movement of static defense really strong, as you don't realize that with this many Spine Crawlers, each Spine Crawler is essentially a 2 supply unit if they are attacking. and that's giving Hazed about a 240 supply army as he's trying to engage here. Oh, this is not looking good. All those units are going to be backing off once more. The Corruptors cannot engage freely, especially with no sight onto any of those units, only the mothership, and there are so many units down below it. Overseer needs to get added here. Spine crawlers are once again being moved forward as the creep tumors are doing this very, very slow push. Oh, the stalkers now quickly come in, get off some easy shots off onto more Corruptors, and those stalkers just trying to win the wars by themselves as Zerglings are now coming in. And oh, a couple High Templar may get taken down. Overseer is getting feedback, now trying to fly away. Psystorm not being that effective as the Corruptors. Where are those Broodlords? The Broodlords need to be dropping in some Broodlings, getting in some damage, but there in comes that Psystorm once more. A lot of damage being absorbed by those Corruptors. The Corruptors, however, are not the main problem. It is those Broodlords, and there is 15 of them on the field all together ready to go. But it still feels like Hazed doesn't trust his army. Hazed with a much larger army, almost double the resources, but he has been losing a lot more than his opponent, as Zealots are now going to be running into this base here. And this is the problem. If Tara keeps on getting all of these free bases and free engagements, he will actually come out the victor in this battle. So far, 24 or 23 Corruptors in the air. Zealots now chasing after the drones. Where are these units going to go? The Broodlords, only 5 of them should be enough to take down this nexus here. The Stalkers will not be able to get in position as Tara now rebuilding his army and almost back up to maximum supply. Zealot's going to be finishing off this hatchery. It does go down, so we are now down to only 4 mineral patches left as we are now going into this engagement. Corruptors and a lot of attacking going in. Psystorm being used. There is a vortex coming in. Are the Archons going to try to jump inside is the question. The Archons are not jumping inside, being forced to instead engage. Oh, there is a High Templar jumping inside instead. Stalkers, the Corruptors, able to finish down that one mothership. 141 versus 166. Broodlord still engaging, and the Stalkers able to blink forward once more. The Spine Crawlers able to engage, but there's some more Psystorm coming in again. Corruptors are able to finish off all of the units that were standing tall, and now there are just Broodlords left against the massive ground army. Tara falling behind now finally. 137 versus 84, and I believe Tara just left the game, so no GG. Tara leaves the game, and that was game 3. I apologize, the games are uploaded out of order as Hazed ultimately lost this series 2-1 to Tara. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening.